Happy Wednesday. I haven't recorded in a while. I have been doing my reevaluation. I've been reevaluating who I believed myself to be, how I saw myself, what I thought about myself. For those who don't know, I have a Cancer ascendant and Jupiter is in Cancer. So it is helping me um, to expand in a way that I never thought, that I would before, right? It's helping me expand in the way that I nurture myself. It is helping me, well, Mars and Libra actually help with this, but help me balance my feminine and masculine energy. I have a Libra moon, so help me, stand up for myself and set boundaries and really just balance within myself first. And then Uranus is in Gemini, that's my 12th house. So that is helping me to finally break free of old patterns, right? That I had noticed, I had become aware of in myself. And a lot of times it takes us seeing these patterns play out in our lives by the people that are around us the most for us to see these patterns, right? Become aware of it, which is what people are supposed to do. They're supposed to be our mirrors. And a lot of times we want to fight the mirror, which I've been there, done that. We want to fight the mirror, but what we're supposed to do is to see what's being reflected back to us, what's ready to be released, and the things that we want to expand on within ourselves, right? So the purpose of this video is to talk about the Saturn retrograding back into Pisces. And we all know that Pisces is the subconscious mind, but when we think of a mind, what really is a mind? And from my perspective and what Spirit's been showing me is it's really a big ass womb, okay? It's a womb. And all possibilities exist there. That's what Pisces is teaching us. Those two fish, one's in the past, one's going towards the future. But the balance in it, what Spirit's been, oh, look at that, a butterfly just came so close and now it's a bee flying around me. But what is really teaching us is to come into balance. And you can only balance if you're in the center. I know y'all saw that butterfly on my shoulder. Oh, wow. This spot right here, I've never sit over here before. I was going to sit in my normal spot, but both of the benches were taken, the tables, and I just said, okay, I'll just keep walking. Maybe I'm supposed to walk. And my intuition guided me, led me over here. And when I walked over here, it looked like a it looked like a butterfly sanctuary. And the butterflies weren't afraid or anything. They were flying very close to me. So, yeah. All right. Getting back into it. So, Saturn retrogrades back into Pisces on August the 31st. And what Spirit has been telling me is that this is the last time that Saturn goes in Pisces for a while. And so what we're going to see for our own lives and also for other people, if you are observant, you will notice old patterns coming back up. And we're in a 9-year. What that means is we go through these 9-year cycles. In the 9th year, it's 2025, we are given the opportunity to make a choice. That's the other part of Pisces, right? There are two roads, so they say. It's really three. There are two roads. You can choose the right-hand path, which is the old patterns you've been experiencing, which are ancestral, actually. We're born into patterns. We're not these patterns. We're born into these patterns. So ancestral trauma, traditional beliefs, traditional ways that they taught you about God. The left-hand path is the disruptive path. That's the right-hand path. That's the masculine. So the left-hand path, you are you're breaking free of the conditioning, what you've been told, okay? And the only thing with that path is it's not grounded. It's quite chaotic, all right? And then the middle path is the path of the heart. That is the path of the Buddha. That is the path of Jesus. That is the path of no resistance. That is the path of truly being in harmony and balance, because you're not on your right or your left. You're not, the father energy or the mother energy. You're the combination of both of those things. You're the center. You're the 0 point energy field. You're the unified field, right? Okay? And so instead of going backwards with this Saturn going in Pisces, Saturn represents the loops, the karma, the pattern, whatever you want to call it, that people have been repeating in order to realize you're in fucking Groundhog Day. This feels familiar. This feels like I've been there, done that. And we've had, I guess, about 2 years or so of Saturn and Pisces to identify these patterns and to utilize our Uranus energy to break free of those patterns. And now that Uranus is in Gemini, it's helping free the mind. Once and for all, free the mind of these patterns, the conditioning, okay? Conditioning is something being repeated over and over again, generation after generation. So it holds a very dense vibration, dense frequency in the blood. And we're being given the opportunity to choose wisely, to allow our intuition, our higher self, or really I say our divine self, our own spirit, which is Neptune and Aries, our own spirit, and also the North Node in Pisces, help us create more aligned rituals, routines that we become not disciplined with, but devoted to, and that is Virgo in the South Node. So we are now devoted to our own spirit. We're devoted to our own spiritual walk and not holding on to other people's version of God, other people's version of what this life is supposed to look like, because our lives are our own lives to live. We have our own life path numbers. We have our own destiny numbers. We have our own soul numbers, which is our Holy Trinity. And Spirit revealed to me that so when I first had my first awakening back on December 9, 2019, I was awakening to the left-hand path. I had been on the right-hand path, which was playing out the shadow side of my life path number 8, where I was working for corporations and I was living an unfulfilled life. I wasn't really living life. I was just going through routine, operating as an NPC, a non-player character, and doing what I was told, doing what my family said that I was supposed to do that made sense to them, and doing what society taught us. So that's living in conditions. That was the right-hand path. But December 9, 2019, I had an awakening. That's Uranus, okay? It's shaking something awake. It's a lot of electricity moving through my body. This was my actual, when Uranus was in opposition, okay? That's from the ages of 38 to 44. And at 38 years old, as soon as I turned 38, boom, okay, awakening. So from 38 to about 45, I was on that left-hand path. Now at 46, I'm in the middle, right? I'm the middle path. I'm the middle way, which is the heart. And the beautiful thing about how spirit orchestrates things, and when I say spirit, I'm speaking about my own spirit, how my spirit orchestrated this awakening was for me to spend about 37 years actually on the right-hand path. And then I spent about 9 years on the left-hand path. And that's a 1 and that's a 9, okay? 19, that's dealing with beginnings and endings. And so now at 46, another 10, I am learning, really remembering who I am, why I'm here, and how to operate in my own center, in my own balance, in my own heart, because we're getting to the point where I talked about this, I think it was 2019. Oh my God, it was just a blue lizard. It's so cute and small. But when everything happened, when the world stopped, that was the beginning, that was the shadow phase of the apocalypse of the heart. And we're in a full-on apocalypse of the heart. That's the shattering, the breaking free of the walls that were placed around our heart from every lifetime and from our ancestral patterns and all of that stuff. So breaking free of that. So I am full on in the middle way, the middle path. That is the only way to remain in your true authentic self and in your balance. Think about it. The center of our brain is where our corpus callosum is. It's the bridge between the left hemisphere of the brain, which is masculine, and the right hemisphere of the brain, which is feminine. It is the bridge that bridges both of those together. It's the only way for you to be in your whole mind or in your whole brain. Okay? It's the only way to truly activate your spiritual eye. Everything that is connected with spirit sits in the center of our being. Okay? From the corpus callosum, the pineal gland, right? The third eye chakra, the spiritual eye, your throat chakra. This is where you speak from a balanced self, right? Speaking directly from your heart, because that's why it's connected to the heart directly, right? It's literally the next chakra is your heart. This is the gateway. This is the unification point. This is actually the unified field. And then we come into our solar plexus, which is our willpower. Okay, this is the little sun, and I look at the heart chakra as the black sun. And when I say black sun, I'm talking about a black hole. I'm talking about the actual soul. This is the home of the soul. This is the full expression of the soul lives here. And then we get into our solar plexus, our power, our drive to live out this life uniquely as our own selves. And then we have our sacral chakra, which is truly the seat of your emotions. This is the womb space. This is the stargate. This is the portal that brings life into the physical plane in order for spirit to experience matter. And then we have our most dense chakra, which is the root chakra. And then the root chakra is where we connect to our earth ancestors, our bloodlines. The earth star chakra is where we connect directly to the earth and we get our earth assignments. And then, of course, we have the soul star chakra, which is where the portal or the opening that comes through for our higher self to provide us guidance. So we have called a lower self and a higher self, but we have an earth star, is what I'm going to call it, our earth star spirit, which connects us to the earth where we get our earth assignment and we know our purpose here, right? It's connected to the feet where we walk. Pisces, we're walking in our path. We're walking in our destiny, right? And you don't know where to walk, which way to go. You don't know what direction when you don't have your assignment. And that's what the Earth Star chakra does. That's what the Pisces energy does. It really helps us know why we're here. And then the Soul Star chakra, our Soul Star spirit, okay, that allows us to connect to the higher aspects of ourself and higher frequencies. The lower frequencies and the higher frequencies are both needed. If you're too far in your lower nature or too far in the things of the earth, you become a materialist. And you only operate from your five senses. You only operate from your appetites, which is your stomach, your sexual organs, those types of things. You operate from vices controlling you, right? And it makes you very dense. So dense, you're not able to lighten your heart because you're weighed down onto this plane. And then if you're too far up in the clouds, okay, you're not grounded. So you don't take care of the material things that you need to do here. You understand? And so that's what happens if you are too far on the right-hand path. You are a materialist. If you're too far on the left-hand path, you are a spiritualist in a way where it's extreme. it's not grounded, it's not balanced, so you neglect the things that you need to do here on this plane. Coming into the middle path, the heart, is where you're able to operate as both, because you are both. You're operating in matter and a physical body, a vessel, utilized in order to experience this reality, and then you're operating in your spiritual aspect, your spiritual nature, in order to bring higher principles onto this plane so you can bring heaven onto earth. That is the true purpose of the middle path. It allows for you to operate in all aspects of yourself. So you're not operating in a dualistic experience. Because in a dualistic experience, you're always going to be divided. You come into your wholeness to become the holistic energy alchemist. You come into your wholeness when you're in your heart. All right. And so that's really what this retrograde has brought me into self-awareness of, and it's helping prepare me to come into the fullness of myself. And I've been studying the law of assumption, and the law of assumption to me is the ultimate law, because it literally states that you are what you say you are. When you call in something, when you claim something, you're that right now, because you've claimed that in spirit. And just because it hasn't manifested or crystallized on this plane doesn't make it not true. So it's getting into operating in your own power, which is very Plutonian. Pluto is our power, and Pluto going from Capricorn, where we gave our power away to systems that were outside of ourselves, to now being in Aquarius, where we're now realizing that we are the power and that we are able to create the life that we want to live. We are able to bring heaven onto earth only when we operate from our spiritual power. And what this 8 years has taught me, because I was talking about the 9-year cycles, because 9 is the fulfillment, is the releasing of the old, and the fulfillment of you coming into the new is completion. The 8 years has taught me where I was giving my power away to things that were not feeding my spirit. Because in order to give your power away, that means that you were giving it to things that weren't replenishing you, right? And we had 8 years to come into full awareness of that, so that we can come into our sovereignty. And this is the year of sovereignty. This is the year where we shed the things that are not in alignment with our sovereignty, and that's also in alignment with the 9-year, because in Chinese astrology, we are in the year of the serpent. And so the serpent sheds its skin, okay, which is also very feminine. It's a very feminine symbol, the serpent. It's also in the spiral and the aurora boreas, I think is what it's called. And all that deals with infinity, cycles, things repeating. We are supposed to be able, as spiritual beings, to observe these cycles and understand what spirit is telling us to do. That's the soul star chakra giving us information, and we have to be an open channel, right? So that information can come down, so we know what time it is divinely, the divine time, and then be connected enough, earth star chakra, so that we can grow with the earth, so that our vessels can become more spiritual and less dense. Another thing we're becoming by tapping into our heart is we're becoming light body beings. So instead of being consumed with race, which is what they taught us, which, if you notice, it keeps you in duality, because you're fighting based upon skin colors, which is insane. Right, you're fighting really not skin colors, but the poles. That's a whole other thing. The white star chakra and the earth star chakra. Soul star chakra is white, and the earth star chakra is black. So you're literally just in duality. You're stuck in duality if you're still fighting these race wars. Okay, so that's really what that's about. But yes, it's coming into your light body. Your light body is more true to what, who and what we truly are is the light body. It is becoming a crystal being, a shining one. That's what they used to call it in ancient times. Becoming a shining one. You can only become a shining one if you're able to identify your shadow patterns. The shadows are the things that live in your unconscious. And your job is to bring them into your consciousness. That's what self-awareness is. You bring those things that are hidden to the surface so that you can alchemize those things into a lighter frequency. People like to say high frequencies, low frequencies. Spirit's telling me it's a lighter frequency. Okay? That's what we call harmony. Not trying to be in a low frequency, not trying to be in a high frequency, but being in a lighter frequency that is being in your own unique, authentic rhythm. We all have a rhythm. It's our soul rhythm. And we have been in the rhythm of our ancestors' shadows, of our ancestral trauma, playing that same distorted song. And when you break free of that pattern, you break free of that every single time you reject something that is not authentic to your soul. If it doesn't feel right to your soul, you reject that. Okay? You let that go. You turn away from it. You repent, which means you turn away from it. Right? So, yeah, that's really what Spirit wanted me to share with you guys. Like I said, I know it's been a while, but I just really have been doing my own work, right? My I am method, the I am experience that Spirit gifted me with, nurture, balance, and expand. I haven't really talked about expand yet, but that's where I am. Everything is triune in nature, and we've been stuck in duality. That is the trick. The way to truly break free is to operate as a holy trinity. That's who and what the God mind. It's not being in the left hemisphere. It's not being in the right hemisphere. It's being able to operate from your whole brain, the triangle, the trinity. Being able to operate from your whole heart. The triune heart of Shiva is what they call it in Asia. Is being able to operate from your whole lower part of your body, right? To harmonize that as a trinity, creating the downward triangle. The downward triangle and the upward triangle, upper and lower Egypt, when they come together in the heart space, that is them coming together in unification. It's raising up your lower nature and it's descending down in your higher nature to meet one another, right? Creating what they call the six-pointed star, but the six-pointed star has a center point, which creates the number 7. That's spirit. Spirit operating in matter. That's when the spirit is the one that is leading and guiding the body and not the ego. So yeah, that's what this is all about. Understanding that your body is just as important as your spirit, and getting your body in order, because we're in Virgo season where we're purging and releasing and detoxing and changing the things that we're allowing in our field. We are here to feed our spirit, not just the flesh. That's the old Bible verse that man cannot live by bread alone. You can't live just by the food that you put into your mouth. You have to understand that you are also consuming everything. The skin is constantly receiving. We're being bombarded with frequencies in our auric field. We're being bombarded with frequencies from the earth and from the cosmos. Every star, every planet is sending out frequencies. And the more balanced and centered you are, you can easily consciously determine which ones you allow into your field and which ones you do not. We are here to become more spirit than matter. What the old paradigm wanted us to be more matter. They wanted us to be stuck in our flesh and not and not remember that we are a spirit, not remember that our soul is a seed that we came here to grow and to feed. The soul is the center point, right? The soul is the center point. We have spirit above and we have earth below. The soul is what sits at the center. The soul is how we create. It's how we express the God within. So, yeah, that's really what it is. Let go of your old patterns. Live in the now. Live in your heart space. Be very, very, very in tune with the way you feel. If you don't feel something, you're not supposed to do it. At least not right now. Be still and know that I am God. I am. My I am experience, it has helped me feed and activate my I am. My inner God, my inner G. Taking your energy back, reclaiming your power, you become a self-sustaining being. The sun is a self-sustaining being. It doesn't need anything on the outside of it to shine. It doesn't. That is what we are all supposed to be doing and becoming, because that's what we truly are. And the more you wake up to the truth of who and what you are, the more you don't play around with the bullshit no more. You don't even get mad at yourself for if an old pattern comes back up and you quote unquote fall short, because you realize with the law of assumption, you can revise it. You have the power to do so. You understand that you've always had the power, but you've been taught that you were insignificant, so you gave that power away to any and everything so haphazardly. You understand that you are supposed to be investing in your own self so that you realize, you have the realization where you get to experience and live out yourself as the overflow and the abundance that you actually are. All right, so yeah, I'm going to end on that note. It's a lot more I could say, but I feel pretty complete with that. Just stay very connected and balanced in your feminine energy and your masculine energy. And you can only do that when you come into the unified energy where you're operating more as they call it a hermaphrodite. I'll call it your Mercurian energy. Mercury. When you're operating more in that energy. So, yeah, guys, I love y'all so much. Stay tuned. There's more to come. There's more to expand on. You guys stay in your center. You stay in your own heart. All right? That's the home. The heart. Home is where the heart is. All right? I love you guys very much. I appreciate you. And I am sending you guys all so much love, so much balance, and just so much abundance. How about that? All right?